So let's wait for a couple of more minutes before we start the webinar. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Roshan Wahid, Chief Marketing and Growth Officer with Shift Technologies, Dubai, UAE. Thank you for taking your time out today and for this panel discussion on AI in employment, engagement, and retention, hosted by Shift Technologies in association with Talentizo. Shift Technologies is a global technology brand positioned to help businesses elevate their capabilities in AI and agentic process automation solutions. Talentizo, an AI learning and development company dedicated to upskill professionals, enterprises, and students by integrating a cutting-edge tool in education and through mentorship to be thriving today's AI-driven world. Today's panel discussion is estimated for an hour, followed by a Q&A session for 20 minutes. However, the moderator will pause during the discussions to take any questions from the participants to the panelists. Today's panel discussion is moderated by Ms. Megha Punya. Ms. Megha, an ex-Indian Air Force officer turned transformational HR leader. She comes with 18 plus years of experience bringing strategic HR and change management expertise to inspire leaders and entrepreneurs to develop resilient and forward-thinking organizations. Before we start, a quick housekeeping announcements. All participants will be on mute during the presentation to avoid any background noise. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hands and we will address them during the pause or Q&A segment. And this section is being recorded, and we will be sharing the recording with all the participants after this webinar. We hope you find this session insightful and valuable. Now I request Ms. Megha to start today's panel discussion by introducing the panelists. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks. I welcome you all to today's panel discussion. I'll quickly introduce the panel. We have with us Arun and Manish. Arun is a seasoned HR professional with nearly 2 decades of experience spanning across multiple domains. He's held key positions at renowned organizations like GE, Capgemini, Novartis, PepsiCo, EA Sports, which shows his experience that he brings along, where he's been instrumental in establishing and enhancing HR processes. Arun is deeply passionate about integration of artificial intelligence, both in his personal and professional life, and he consistently seeks to harness technology to drive efficiency and accelerate progress. So welcome, Arun.
Thank you, Megan.
We also have with us Manish, who is a serial tech entrepreneur. He comes with 20 plus years of experience in founding and scaling AI software ventures, AI training organizations. He founded a Comfort, which focuses on AI and generative AI solutions. He combines technical prowess with a passion for education, and his expertise and passion for the digital transformation led him to develop programs that enables organization leverage AI effectively. So I welcome you, Manish. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Today, as we are going to talk about employee engagement and retention, which is the need of the hour of the industry, everybody is talking about that, AI is integrating and, the retention and engagement should improve. So to just set the context, Arun, if I start with you, how do you define employee engagement in today's hybrid and AI-enabled workplace? If you can just put your views.
Thank you for putting me on spot, Mega. I mean, it's a Friday evening. Definitely the question you ask, it's related to Friday because if I remember our like early stage when we started our career, we called it like Fun Friday, but now it's no more Fun Friday. So in today's world, I see the employee engagement as dynamic and volatile. It's two-way relationship actually, where employee feel genuinely heard, valued, and supported no matter where they work, it's in hybrid model or AI driven work environment, it's less about physical presence and more about like emotional presence. We always think like how we need to know emotionally our employee, how they are engaged, and then definitely like we need to ask question to our employee. Our employees are connected to the purpose, are they empowered by the tools to remove friction? Technology, especially AI, should be an enabler of like meaningful human experience, which can human work faster. I mean, it's not about that, okay, I have AI and I can live it with AI. Definitely, AI makes our life faster. So engagement is defined in different way. Definitely, we'll talk more about like different engagement model. But absolutely, I totally agree to the fact now the engagement is all about like listening to employee and listening to their like presence or their understanding about the engagement.
Thanks for putting your views, Arun. And I completely echo as an HR professional myself that truly engaged employees is the truly productive employee. Coming back to you, Manish, if I have to ask your viewpoint, because you work with clients who are HR heads, business heads, and you've seen the evolution taking place starting from 2020, and now it's changing every single day. So, what would you say about this? And if you want to give some illustrations around it.
Yeah, I'll start from where Arun was coming. So I totally agree with his views. Now, the engagement can be defined more as a series of experiences that the employee goes through, whether it's in the physical workspace or in the digital workspace, or increasingly now in the AI workspace. So we have a lot of employees who are working hybrid today. So hybrid has become kind of a expected norm rather than a perk which used to be there earlier. So making that hybrid kind of a working or collaboration meaningful, whether you are inside the office or you are in your home, has become very important in terms of engagement. And digital, I mean, every employee juggles with many applications today. On an average, employees, use somewhere around 10 applications on a daily basis. And then if the journeys are fragmented and you have a lot of tools and repetitive kind of a work doing in multiple tools, then that bleeds engagement. And the third is like for last 2 to 3 years, we are seeing that AI is being increasingly coming into workplace. And instead of talking to someone, employees like to talk to the chatbot and get an answer first. And so we can say that AI is becoming the first touch point, accessible to employees, and then after that only they try and ask someone else. So it has become very important that how to create an engagement layer with AI tools also. So summarizing, I'll say that it's more about micro moments that employees spend in physical workspace, digital, playing around with digital applications, working on them, and increasingly the AI workspace. Yeah.
Thanks for beautifully putting this up. So, when we are talking about how employee engagement looks like from a user side, from an HR head or client perspective, there would be expectations of employees also changing, and we need to address them. So, Arun, coming back to you again, that in your view, what has changed in employee expectations post-pandemic, specifically if we talk of the era wherein people from office went to, that hybrid model, work from home, and then it transitioned to hybrid. And how do you think that, the change took place, and how well was it received, and how you think AI is helping organizations, helping in that shift?
Absolutely. I think I have been asked this question in multiple conference, like what is changed after COVID? Basically for me, I mean, COVID taught us many lesson, be it personal or professional. I mean, we are very strong after COVID. Definitely that the expectation got changed, and employee always expect after COVID because see, most of the time we work from home and we get that kind of situation, that how we are going to manage our work. So work wise, I mean, it's absolutely fine now, but the employee expectation is to like how I can personalization, transparency, and then flexibility, because flexibility is the major point now in any organization, because the kind of flexibility we got for like almost 1 year or 2 year during pandemic, that is continue now. I mean, basically, if you ask me, that is a new baseline for post-COVID employee expectation. Actually, they want their work experience to mirror and the personalization they receive as a consumer, not the kind of like employee earlier days. We tell them that yes, go ahead and complete this work, but now they want the work like kind of, okay, this is my part and I have to do this work and I have to complete this work, and they want to take that ownership, because during pandemic it was really challenging in terms of like working in a virtual world and giving the task or discussing with the team member. That time the accountability got increased and they are taking that kind of accountability now. And moreover, the AI helps organization deliver on this expectation by enabling hyper-personalized career development path. Because earlier manager used to go ahead and discuss like, okay, what is your aspiration, what you want to do, what you want to achieve. But now we get to know from the employee that what exactly they want. And it's easy for other like HR leader or manager, it's very easy for me to identify that what my employee's expectation is. And I am getting the real-time feedback through AI, because AI employees are definitely using the AI-driven platform wherein they are putting their interest and they are showing their expectation, and I'm getting the real-time feedback that yes, what I need to do it for my employee. Absolutely. And see, one is like personalized career development path and real-time feedback loops and proactive well-being support. So well-being is another like most important factor in post-COVID environment. Actually, everybody looks for their like work-life balance. I mean, it's a very bigger term, but definitely, I mean, AI helping us in terms of making our work faster and thinking like, okay, I can spend some time for my wellness. Probably I can go to gym or something. So this is definitely a goal, and creating a workplace that feels tailored to the individual, not on one size fit to all. So basically, I mean, we are thinking about individual perspective, but not an organizational perspective. And thanks to AI, I mean, it's a definitely the change to the world or change to our society, that we bring AI to make our work faster.
Yeah. That's true. And efficiency and, fast means more efficient in today's world. Coming back to you, Manish, on the same point that, this is the employee expectation that has changed. So, what solutions, if you talk from a solution perspective, starting from, during pandemic and post-pandemic and till now, how have you scaled this, the solutioning, catering to this particular requirement that would have come from clients? Okay, this is how the employee overlook has changed. This is how the expectations have changed. If you can talk about that from mostly that, how have you designed such solutions?
Correct. Megha, I think during pandemic, we all went through a forced learning of technology. I can remember, people who were not that comfortable using technology, even they became conversant with MS Teams and, conducting meetings online or using online tools. So the kind of digital transformation that happened during the COVID times is unprecedented. The data says that the way the transformation was happening, around 10 years worth of digital transformation happened in just 2 years. So that created a lot of demand for technology solutions. And similar to like most of the customers that we have, our company also went totally remote. And initially, it was a bit difficult to, keep everyone on the same page. And then we started getting similar kind of comments from our customers. So, of course, we were doing the usual application development work, the workflows and digitalization work. But then at that time, we started building a solution to help companies navigate this era. And, after COVID also, when things went back to normal, people, they did not unlearn what they learned during the COVID, and they continued using these kind of solutions. So particularly, I'll like to talk about a software, a SaaS application Uniteam that we built. And this solution basically creates a very simple task list for employees, wherein it can bring tasks from their individual task list, the tasks delegated by their managers, or the work action items assigned during meeting, or activities from the projects that they are working on, onto a very simple interface on mobile or web. And then when they update and check out this task, then everything gets updated automatically. And as a byproduct, it has a lot of analytics also around it. So if time permits, then probably I can have a quick demo of this solutions to not just talk about it, but to get the audience a feel about how the solutions have emerged. And then once generative AI came, we integrated generative AI-based chatbot also into the application. So now most of the things you can do by just asking the bot, like if you want to say, ask that, okay, what my team is working on today, or assign this work to someone. So we can do it by just speaking or typing. So I
Yeah,
think,
we'd
yeah,
love to
I
see the
can
demo. Yeah.
try and go into a demo. So I'll just sign out. So let me share my screen. So is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So here we are, Uniteam, the AI-powered work companion. I'll directly go inside the portal. So I have set up a demo account. So I'm there on the home screen. When someone logs in, they will land up to their task list. So it's a simple screen, whether you open it on mobile or mobile also, you will get a very similar interface. And the tasks are classified in different buckets like overdue, today, tomorrow, and so on. I can go back and see the task which I have completed by clicking the done option and coming back to active tasks. Now, the beauty of this software is that we have a chatbot here, and the chatbot is multi-purpose. It can ask you some questions, it can give you some nudges and advice, and you can also ask it questions, or you can treat this chatbot as an assistant to create meetings, invite members, write them emails, or assign a task to someone, or get status update, and so on. So I'll demonstrate that briefly. First, let's have a walk around the key features. So instead of clicking here and then I can type and I can add a task like say attend the webinar on HR. So I've added a task for myself. But increasingly, people are now using AI, and this chatbot has gained traction. So similar kind of task I can assign by just writing the chatbot an instruction, say at a task for complete project review by 29. So the task got created. I can ask it to assign a task to a team member also, or I can ask it to create a meeting also. So the meeting once created, it goes into the meeting interface. So I have a meeting, weekly sprint review meeting is there. We have this meeting as a ritual every week. But sometimes mostly what happens is that during the meeting, we take notes, and then next time the meeting happens, people are clueless about the progress and so on. But what I can do, since we did the last week's meeting also on Uniteam on the last Friday, I can go to the last sprint review meeting. I can see the tasks or the action items which were planned in that meeting. And since these tasks were assigned to individuals, those who have completed, I can see the status update here. So there are 2 tasks which are still pending. And if I go to my task list, then I can see one of the tasks here, identify data research company with a tag meeting task. So this is a task pending from my side. It was supposed to be completed before this week. So if I complete this task, I mark this as completed, then the meeting action taken report also gets updated. So now I have, or every employee has a single screen to work on, and then everything else is taken care of automatically by the software. The organizer of the meeting will get a mail message also that this action item which was pending has been completed. So in addition to meeting, I'll switch to the project interface also. It's a very lightweight, it has a very lightweight project management tool also embedded to it. So if I go to one of the projects, so I can create milestones or phases, like it's a software project. So we have the usual software phases, system analysis and design, development, testing, and so on. So in the audience, those who have experience, I think everyone has experience either building software or getting a software built for them, so they can relate to it. And inside a phase, we can add different tasks or activities. And these activities are assigned to individuals. You can see their headshots here. And once the activities are assigned to them, they are not required to go to this project interface. These activities will land up to their home screen or the task list. So the whole idea is to give just one screen to employees, and then all the work that generally, lands to their bucket from different channels, and they always feel overburdened, working with the emails or WhatsApp messages or Slack or, verbal discussions happening in the office. So that cognitive load can be avoided. So because we realized that during COVID, people were, constantly in the meetings, and people are doing meeting in the morning, then in the middle of the day, and then in the evening for status reviews and so on. With a tool like this, the team leader or the manager gets notified automatically. So if I go to a particular team, so I can click and see what their task list is and what they are working on, how much have they completed. If I want to focus on the task which I have delegated to this individual, I can click on this, that the tasks which are assigned by me, I just want to see those tasks only. So that way, and then every morning, the team leader gets a digest mail with list of activities which have been completed by the individual team members. And we can even create an open team where anyone can see, other team members' tasks, what they are working on. Because a lot of times, there are people who are silently working, and others are not aware in the team about the contribution that they are making to the company or the whole progress of the work. So if we decide to keep it an open team, option is there to let everyone see what everyone else is working on, or else we can make it self and the team leader only. So this is the tool that we built, and we started giving it out to our customers during COVID, and they liked it so much. And this, once generative AI came to the scene, we thought that let us integrate AI. We started thinking how to make it simple and increase the adoption more with AI. So the chatbot was the first thing that we did. So especially on mobile, you can just open the chatbot and you can work with chatbot only. Most of the features you can use through chatbot. Also, we thought that there is one area where AI can be integrated, and that is analytics. So we have two dashboards for analytics in Uniteam. The first one is the productivity. We may not have some data here. Let me try and see, because we have set up some demo accounts for demonstration purpose. Okay, we have something here. So this productivity dashboard generates data based on the task which are assigned to individuals and how much time they take to complete it. Are they completing on time or getting delayed? So we can monitor the teams or individual on an individual level also. We can keep a track of their productivity. And the other thing is engagement. So we have some data here. So the chatbot pushes, pulse surveys every week, one question. And then based on the responses, it tries to gather information about how employees are feeling. And it can conduct feedback wherein you can take a lot of text as input. Earlier, without generative AI, if employees are giving, long form answers, and there are thousands of those answers coming, it's very hard for anyone to physically go through all the responses and get a gist out of that. But with generative AI, it can analyze, thousands of long form answers, feedbacks in a real-time manner, and can summarize that for the managers to take action. So we have AI insights based on how the engagement is moving, overall engagement, as well as across various key drivers of engagement. And then I don't know if we have some demo data available here, but you'll get a very detailed, a quick snapshot and a very detailed insight also, containing, actionable tips for improving in certain areas where you are lagging. Or else you can go on a drill down on a engagement driver to engagement driver level, and can see the scores, and can also see the AI generated summary based on maybe thousands of responses that have been collected as a text-based answers or long form feedback given by employees. And it has the integrations with the common tools. We did not say that, okay, you throw away Zoom or don't use MS Teams and use this. Rather, we built integrations. So if I go and create like a meeting, so it has integrations enabled with the popular tools. So say Google Meet is there for enabled for me. So I can choose this. I can just create a meeting. Google Meet link will be created automatically. Emails will go to all the participants automatically. So we have tried to fit into the existing ecosystem rather than building something from scratch and asking them to use one more tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is pretty impressive, and I think this would have been a blessing for a lot of organizations who immediately went from working from home to work from office to home and then hybrid. And this looks more like a hyper personalized workspace to me, compact project management tool all in one. So that's great, and thanks for demonstrating this for us. Now, as we've spoken about changing scenario and expectations, and we have demonstrated and illustrated also, we've given some examples and you've demonstrated the tool. If I come back to you, Arun, that solutions are there, right? But how ready you think that HR teams are to adopt AI for engagement and retention models?
Absolutely, Mega. I think first of all, I would really amaze like showing the demo from the Manish. I mean, if we could have shown this kind of demo to HR leader, definitely they will agree. I mean, it will ease out manager's job first.
Yeah.
And secondly, I mean, it will give me the real-time data and real-time facts that what employee expectation is. Because sometimes, I mean, we are struggling and as a manager, as a leader, people they are going into getting into the team and asking like what happened to this project, that project. At least I mean we will get to reduce that kind of like people see that a manager is doing micromanagement. And if we do with this data, I'm sure, I mean, people will not feel that micromanagement. They will feel empowered. Oh,
Yeah.
my tool is now asking me, let me put in the tool. I mean, I am fine. It will automatically trigger to my manager or leader. Definitely, I mean, see, HR willingness to adopt the AI tool is not high because they don't see the reality and don't have that kind of reality that how Manish saw the demo now. I mean, if they know the demo, they know the details, or they see the kind of like impact, definitely they are going to adapt it. Like many HR leaders are excited about AI and they wanted to build the AI, they wanted to implement the AI. But I mean, there is a cautious, right? Like often assuming that will it replace the human touch? Because human resource means like we have to always like work as a human, right? But definitely not. It will ease our work and it will give the real fact and right data to basically retain our employee. Engagement is nothing but definitely we can go ahead and retain our employee. So when in fact like it amplify and it in another way like there is a misconception that either AI is set it and forget it. No, it is human driven and we have to
Yeah.
drive the AI. It's not that okay, I implemented or like say Manish implemented the AI in my system and I forget it. Somebody has implemented, let's forget that. No, I have to give the command. At the end, like there is a human touch and we have to command that tool. So that tool will give us the right data. Definitely, I mean, if you ask me in industry, like most of the HR leader are now, they are asking about like how we can build or how we can implement or adapt AI. Not in terms of like employee engagement, but there are multiple factors like employee engagement and how we can build the AI tool for the retention. So not only like AI is being used for all these things, but there are other aspects like in HR terminology, we use like how we can do the performance check, how we can do the org health check. There are many, multiple things are happening through AI, but definitely it's a real world and this is the future of HR.
So thanks for putting this up. And, I again would echo the same with you, being from the same background. But with solutions and apprehensions around, there would have been misconceptions. And uh, Manish, if I come back to you, can you talk about what are the most frequently, shown misconceptions that you hear from the client side when you suggest these solutions, or then, you deploy it during the change management phase, if you can talk about it.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of misconceptions around AI and a lot of popular narratives which are not correct. The first one is that AI equals job cuts. A lot of people believe that this will impact their jobs, and people are kind of on a wait and see mode, so they are not implementing it. Like we had, if long back when computers came to India, during that time there were protests happening on the streets by bank and LIC
Yeah.
officials that computers will take away all our jobs. But I
Yeah.
I don't think anyone lost their job with the wave of computerization that happened. So similar kind of transition happened with internet and everything going online. And now it's the next wave. We have everything AI driven. Of course, there will be some change in terms of job descriptions. The requirement of the skill sets will differ. But I think this big misconception is hurting people and is basically people are delaying implementation. And in certain organizations, of course, some jobs have been automated. Like I was reading about IKEA. So they had a lot of, AI implemented in customer support. So they implemented AI-based chatbots. They were able to free up a lot of resources from customer support, but they retrained and deployed them in the sales functions. And as a
Yeah.
result, their sales increased. So changes will happen, but you cannot avoid it for long. So that is one thing that we see quite often. The second misconception is that we are not ready for the AI adoption. Means either we don't have the right or the complete set of data that is needed for AI, or we don't have the kind of technical infrastructure that is needed, or it's very costly. Especially mid-sized organizations feel that AI is something very costly. And also some people don't have that kind of a trust on the AI output. Because
Yeah.
especially when generative AI came on the scene, the models were not that mature and they were hallucinating a bit. But with time, with last 2-3 years of evolution, the models have only gotten better, and most of the problems have been already circumvented. So I think this particular myth does not hold good now, that models are not good enough. And the kind of output that we are getting in terms of predictive AI or generative AI, the quality of output is reaching 95% or above of human generated output. So these are the things that we have been hearing since last you can say 2 years. But probably that's the reason why adoption is less, as Arun talked about. Hardly 15% of the organizations have actually gone with
Adopted, yeah.
production grade deployments in AI.
That's true. And thanks for openly talking about these misconceptions. And I wanted it to come from you because you would be more, candid about the apprehensions that you receive. All better said than done. Before we dive deep into it, can each one of you share a quick example or a use case where AI played a pivotal role in improving workplace experience or retention, either of the models? Because that would scale up the effectivity of what we're talking about. So we can start with Arun, maybe you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, during my introduction, you mentioned one thing, right? I am always passionate about AI and I am always passionate about digitalization. But at the same time, I mean, coming to Manish's point, that people feel that, oh, if we implement AI, probably will reduce the manpower or probably we
Yeah.
will ask them to leave. It's not like that. So the solution, I mean, in one of the organization I developed, so across globe, because I was taking care of global part. So across globe, we had almost like 37 people. So when I presented this idea to the leadership team, they asked me first question, Arun, what will do with these 37 people? I said, I mean, no need to worry about these 37 people. I can definitely deploy them into different project, or probably I'll come up with idea like how we are going to use them using AI. So what we did actually, in industry, or you can go to any organization, ask like, how is your exit process working? Everybody say, oh my God, it's a lengthy process. It's taking long time. And we don't know, like sometimes people will come after 15 days, 1 month, and they will say, oh, my team member has already left. Why can't you give the relieving letter? Why you are not thinking about the full and final and all? So I thought, I mean, this is the first step. Let me took it and let me take it, and then I developed this kind of like AI, or bring AI into this process. And this process is exit process. What we did, and it's not about the process, but we need to think like how we are going to retain people. There are two ways. Either like manager can go ahead and convince that, okay, I'll give you promotion, probably I'll think about your career, or maybe I'll give you some like compensation hike or something. So they will convince the people. So before come to manager, so we implemented through AI, that AI will ask few questions and check the pulse of that employee, whether that employee, why that employee is leaving. And it is purely anonymous. We give the disclaimer to the employee that yes, the question answer you are giving, it should be honest, and this is purely anonymous for the organizational use. It's not for your use, but definitely it's for organizational use. So we created the kind of like platform wherein employee will go, if I wanted to resign from the organization, I'll go to that platform, and as soon as I open that platform, it will ask me question. Arun, why do you want to leave this organization? Because you are enjoying your job. We see that your performance is good. It will give you a kind of like boost, or it will try to convince you. after that, I mean, the employee feels that no, I have to resign. Then they can go ahead and use the application. Say, for example, they will put their last working day and what is the type of resignation. Say, I want to resign for my personal thing or something. Once they do that, it will trigger to manager automatically, and manager will see that employee has put down his paper because of personal reason. And manager wanted to go ahead and try to convince, because manager will have a kind of dialogue to see like whether employee wanted to stay or leave from the organization. So there are like two steps for the convincing or try to retain the people. So once manager take a decision whether to retain that or that employee wanted to leave the organization, manager can go ahead and submit the request, and automatically it will process the request and send the trigger to all the stakeholder. And for the stakeholder also, every 2 days you will send a notification whether you complete your like task.
Okay.
And then what happened, all consolidated report will send it to the payroll team for the full and final process. But at the same time, the survey which took by the AI, it will send it to the HR as an anonymous, telling that people are leaving because they are not empowered, they are not getting the right job, probably they are sitting idly, they don't have that much work or something like that. So it will give us like kind of real data that what I need to think or what kind of like talent development will come into the picture, and I'll give that kind of like essence to the manager or the leadership team to work on those things for their employee. And believe me, I mean, believe me, I mean, the implementation which you had done first 3 months, I mean, nobody used that because it was asking question. People think that, I mean, no, this data they are taking and they may like ask this question like why you are leaving. Probably if I give that, I got a good hike. That's the reason I'm leaving. So people didn't use. We created like lots of change management. We created some kind of awareness program that no, this data is being used for certain purpose, not for your like your departure or something. And then it's people started using it, and believe me, I mean, the kind of ratio we got it during manual, like sending email to manager will schedule a meeting and all that. One is one like a non-value added work we remove. And secondly, I mean, we got the like 99% accurate data. Like, okay, sometime, I mean, people will come, oh, my resignation date is not that. I have given a different resignation date to manager has updated some different date. The data accuracy is 99%. And the second third, we got the kind of like penetration, it's almost 90%, that people feel that yes, this tool is very good, let's use this tool. Instead of sending an email, I can go ahead and use this tool, so that I should not face that kind of challenges that my manager will see, oh, I need to write a long email and send it to my manager or something. But yes, I mean, definitely this is one of the case, but I can tell like there are multiple cases or multiple things we have implemented, and it gives us really boost in terms of like having the real-time data and having the real-time conversation with the people. Because earlier we don't know whether manager is giving the right data or not, but now I got to know from the employee directly, so I can work on those kind of like improvement plan for the organization.
Awesome. And a process as painful as people say that, the moment they put up their resignation, it becomes and the painful process starts from there. So this would have solved a lot of problems, and, training the AI model to actually ask those kind of questions, which generally earlier used to have, human intervention. By the time the person would have already made up his mind, okay, now I am not going to stay. So that's good. That's a great example. And coming back to you, Manish, that you must have designed a number of solutions, but one such solutions which really was the need of the hour, and it changed the outlook of the organization. Okay, yes, AI is not if leveraged in an effective way, it can really boost the efficiency. So if you can demonstrate a quick example.
Yeah, sure. So I'll talk about a recent solution that we have built. Its name is Scout, and it's part of our generative AI agents. So this is a very simple agent. You can imagine it like a chat GPT for your enterprise. It works on your enterprise data, enterprise information. and you can create workspaces around different departments. So we have implemented this solution across multiple organizations. And I'm talking about one particular company which is into energy space, and they implemented it primarily for HR. So all the HR policies, documents, they are kept in one of the workspaces. And then you can build a conversational interface or chatbot for the employees. So it becomes a good HR go-to person for them. So on an average, they what they mentioned is that earlier, when people used to have any query and it used to be a complex query, it used to take 1 day for the employee to get the correct answer. And now it has been changed to 10 seconds. And the kind of like request that HR department used to get from employees, that has also dropped significantly in the, even within the first 6 weeks of the implementation of this tool. So I would like to have a quick demo of this tool to get a actual feel rather than me telling about it. So I'll share my screen and give a 2-minute demo. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is the interface of Scout. It looks very much similar to ChatGPT. We have intentionally made it like that because everyone is comfortable with the UI, and then we don't want any learning curve to come up. So how it works is you have workspaces. You can create documents, and I have opened the administrative interface. So from admin side, or the person who is managing this whole software, they can create workspaces. Like we have multiple workspaces here. One of them is HR, and inside the workspace, we can upload the documents. Like there are certain policy documents available. And then for employees, they get to see this chat interface only. Employees are assigned workspaces based on their specific area or department. And there are certain workspaces which are accessible to all, like maybe HR policies and circulars. So if I'm an employee and I am thinking I'm not liking my current work that is there, and I want to know if there is any policy of job rotation, or can I apply for job rotation. So I can ask such questions also, which I may not be very comfortable, asking to my immediate boss, because he might feel offended, or he may take it, not in a very positive way. So I'll just demonstrate and see if I get an answer. Uh,
It's as good as having a one-to-one conversation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you feel that it's very long, you can ask it to summarize.
And absolutely, I mean, Manish, just I wanted to add it here that we are not removing the job of this person, right? Earlier also
Yeah.
there was a person, I mean, we had to reach out to check the
Yeah.
policy. Can you tell me whether this policy is available? And now also we are reaching out to the same person, but through a different channel, right? Why I'm telling like this? Because the person is sitting and updating all this policy, right?
Yeah.
There is a kind of, we called it like governance model. He is doing the governance, whether the policies are right or need to update something. It's not that, I mean, he is responding. Definitely tool is responding, but we are not removing any job, or in fact, I
Yeah.
mean, we are elevating the job of the person actually.
Yeah, true. And then this tool has transparency. So with every answer that you get, you can see the citations also. So by clicking on this citation link, you get to see the documents and the specific page numbers from where the information has been, picked up and
Extracted.
compiled
Mm.
together to create this response. By clicking on this, one can even open that particular document, and it will open directly on the page where that stuff is written. So this is a way for, to bring in the trust level of the employees. So we are tracking metrics, and we saw that initially people were using this citation feature a lot. But once they, became confident in the ability of the AI to provide them with correct response, they are less often clicking on this citation link. So they now trust the output of the AI much more than
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, this is as I said, that is as good as having a one-to-one conversations, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, with citations in place, so person is sure that yes, the information that they're having, and that's authentic and correct. Thanks, Manish and Arun, both for illustrating the examples. So there's a pre-submitted question, and as we are talking about few solutions, I'll just take you to the question, and that says that how can organizations ethically and effectively, because there are concerned about ethical use of AI also, and then efficacy. So how it can be effectively and ethically leveraged to personalized employee engagement without compromising on trust and policy, as we touched base upon hyper personalized engagement models too. So, Manish, if you can answer, and then maybe I can go back to Arun to take his views. Yeah.
I think governance and ethics are a very important aspect of AI implementation. And we have seen that, uh, like initially the models had a lot of problems relating to hallucination. And then we had court cases wherein media companies went against the AI developers that they are taking data or stealing data and then building the training models. So that kind of, news has got into the popular discourse, and uh, it's a challenge,
Yeah.
in fact, to addressed by the AI implementation teams also. So there are, I mean, you need to set up proper guardrails and governance framework whenever AI implementation is done. And we believe that 30% of the work is actual AI model. 70% of the work in any implementation is setting proper, testing against the biases, the technical safeguards,
The
building
governance
the
and
right,
compliance.
kind of anonymization of the data. So all that tooling has to be done in a proper way to ensure that the privacy is not breached. And then you can demonstrate also. You should be able to demonstrate that the model is transparent, it is explainable, the output is not, it's not working like a black box, and it is explainable. And for that, lot of standard approaches are there. There are model fairness audits against gender, tenure, location. There are provisions to retrain the model based on the feedback that we are getting. And I think for building the model, the data collection or the foundation of the data is very important. And many a times, like Karun also mentioned, that when he implemented the tool, the employees were initially reluctant to use it, or that
Yes.
maybe the data is being captured for some purpose which may hurt them in future. So that challenge, that kind of apprehension is there. But I think with transparency and having proper change management practices and proper technology safeguards on the other side, uh, we are able to kind of get that kind of a confidence from the customers that the application that we are building or implementing is going to be fair against with everyone. It's not going to be biased or kind of use the information for maybe some purpose which is not ethical.
Okay, thanks, Manish. And before I move further, extending the same question to you, Arun, I'll just take a pause in audiences. If anyone has any question, you can type it in chat, and I'll take it up next. Meanwhile, as I continue with a few pre-submitted and the flow of the question that we have. So, Arun, your answer for this, on the ethical usage, if I have to combine with, that how in this hyper personalized engagement that we spoke of, an earlier traditional model one size fits all, is changing. So how, as an HR head or a business head, do you ensure that personalization doesn't become invasive or counterproductive, and ensuring that ethical use is there? So these two challenges, I'm sure that most of the HR heads and business heads would have had when they are launching any such solutions. So if you can talk about it.
Absolutely, Mega. I mean, this is a very big and strong word, hyper personalized, because it's as some of our like audience, they mention a question like, how ethical is this? So definitely, I mean, hyper personalized engagement is a powerful strategy, but it must be approached with like care and avoid crossing the line into being like invasive and counterproductive, as you mentioned rightly. So as an HR or like business head, I see the key as like basically intentionally and balance. The firstly, if you ask me, Manish also mentioned the same point. Like firstly, transparency is the critical for me. We have to give the transparent answer or transparent trust to the employee that this is what we are going to use for this data, and we ensure that employee understand why we are personalizing the experiences. I mean, it's not that I'm telling, okay, we are going to personalize experiences, but they don't understand and then don't know why we're trying to make it personalized, then it would create conflict, right? Whether it's a like their growth or well-being or engagement, and that they say that how their data is being used. So we have to take that kind of like transparency and take the consent, and we have to have a like proper communication go hand in hand that yes, this is what we are going to do with the data. So they should know each and everything, then only they will trust, and it will be ethical for the HR and the business end. And secondly, see, boundaries matter. I mean, we should not go, okay, I'll ask like how many times that this person is logging into system,
Yeah.
what he is doing. We should not do that. I mean, that is purely and definitely it will call like micromanagement. We personalize based on their relevant professional data, such as like learning preference. Say, for example, as I mentioned in one of the conference, right? I said like what people are checking, like because we put some AI into our organization to see what they want. So out of like 100 people, 80 people are looking for AI course, be it Udemy or be it
Yeah.
any like system course, they are checking. So this is how, I mean, we are taking the data and checking, oh, all my people are looking for AI. So if I wanted to implement something AI, they will be really happy.
Yeah.
And definitely the career aspiration, what they are looking for, what kind of feedback trends is happening, I mean, we are not doing any micromanagement, but definitely we are doing like personalized training program or personalized career aspiration and feedback. And third, if you ask me, like as Manish mentioned rightly, technology responsibly, tool like AI-driven learning platform or customized wellness program are used to enhance, not replace the human touch. Managers still play a crucial role in interpreting our like data to know the empathy of the employee. I mean, we can use multiple tools, but that doesn't mean that, I mean, manager will not go ahead and discuss. Definitely, manager will have a kind of dialogue to know the development opportunity or career aspiration, and what they want, what is their personalized aspiration. Manager definitely go ahead and discuss. So this is what my thought. And if you ask any HR leader or like business leader, they will talk about the transparency and the technology responsibility. These are the two major factors for me.
So yes, of course, transparency is one takeaway for sure, that we have to ensure that that this is not becoming invasive or which can turn counterproductive. It is enabling the teams to perform better, and ensuring that they are not spending much time and repeating repetitive slides, like just to take like Uniteam demo that Manish did, that just to have an update on a project, we are having multiple meetings during the week to see where each one is. When there is a dashboard, everyone can go and see, and we can connect once in a week, maybe in the most effective manner, with quick crisp updates that we would have. There's another question that's there, that could AI help in building personalized growth, as we are talking about learning paths, and you've just touched base, Arun, on learning paths also. or learning paths based on employee behavior or performance. Like you rightly took one example of how if people are searching about AI courses, so it's a good insight for an HR leader to do so. So I'm sure it's a add-on question, but if you have any more views, Arun and Manish, either of you.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, in one of my organization, we see that trend. So people used to, I mean, definitely the personalized growth I can't give. I mean, the AI can't give. It is again depend upon the data we collect and
Yeah.
then the discussion or dialogue we will have with the employee. But definitely, I mean, it will give us the kind of like sense that. Let me give one example here. Like in one of my organization, so we wanted to know like, okay, if in our team there are like 15 people, they are working in HR or like they are working in HR operation, all HR like learning development, talent management. I wanted to know like who is having which skill. Say for example, tomorrow our like senior leader coming, whether that person is really right fit to prepare the presentation and make it ready or like present in front of the leader. So we collected the data through AI and understand that like lots of skills are available, but we were not aware that our team has that kind of potential or that
Ability.
kind of competency. And then based on that, I mean, we can discuss, we will give those data to the manager and ask like, why can't you discuss this person with this person about his or her growth? Because he is very good in making presentation. He is very good in presenting the data to the senior leader. So he or she should, I mean, you should push her for going for a like data analytics course or something. Based on that, we given growth. I mean, it's a real time experience. I can say like we have given almost like 7 to 8 rotational job we send them to a different function or different project, stating that I mean you should go and learn that project because you have that competency. I'm sure, I mean, they are really happy in the organization now. But if I could see it and I ask like, okay, Mega, can you tell me like what skill you have? You may not tell like right thing, right? But
Yeah.
if data, the AI will go
Is
and ask you.
captured.
Exactly, it will capture your skills and data, and based on that, definitely we can go ahead and see your growth, how you are going to fit in.
Yeah. And that's, I think, that's the best way to gauge, okay, how, may not be at the immediate time, but eventually if we have to reshift teams and, allocate people different kind of responsibility because AI coming in, some work might become totally automated and we have to shift people to teams. And for that purpose, yes, I think this is a perfect example of how these skills can be
I
used if we have a growth plan too.
I can't control myself, but let me tell you, I mean, one of the person, as I mentioned, he learned the AI from
Okay.
some tool or something, and
Okay.
then he come up and say like, Arun, I can implement or I can automate this process through AI. I mean, then I said, then I no need to go ahead and hire people from outside for AI. Like
Yeah,
you
of
are there.
course, of course. Yeah.
So this
So the
is how, I
problem
mean,
is, yeah. The problem is that only that the people have to understand that upskilling and relearning, again learning and then upskilling, that's the need of the hour. You have to go with the flow. So being mindful of the time, though there are a lot of questions that still to be asked, probably we'll have to have another set of webinar series where we next webinar where we'll be talking about talent acquisition. We can discuss more about data. But before I wind up, because we are in the flow, I just want to ask a couple of questions about data. Manish, if I come to you, that we've started talking about data, how important it is for if we speak about AI, then we speak about data, and from there we are drawing references. So how can predictive analysis accurately identify at-risk employees? Like if we want a proper retention model in an
Mhm.
organization without breaching the privacy and creating bias. Like, people might not give correct answers during the surveys, and which had been the case at
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
So how AI can help that process become more better?
Yeah. So Megha, for building any kind of a predictive model, the one part is the algorithm, and the second part is identifying what inputs we need to give to algorithm to take a, churn the data and come out with that prediction. So the whole game is like creating a predictive model is the job of the data scientist, but building the right set of parameters, therein the subject matter expertise comes. So I
Yeah.
think the HR teams, leaders, they are the ones who need to identify, like, say, to give you some example, like absence pattern of the employee, internal transfers that are happening, or the performance rating. So, or maybe like we can Slack conversations, you can have an anonymous kind of AI running over it, or AI email metadata, or how much is the meeting load on an individual, what are the number of hours that person is spending in learning, or how much time the person is spending at the coffee machine. So
Mhm.
those are the kind of, just giving you an example, these are the kind
Yeah.
of like signals or the data points that we need to identify carefully, and then decide that what is the weightage of each parameter when they are fed into the model. And then the model comes out with a prediction. And it's an iterative process. You will create a model, you will run it, and then validate the model with the past or historical data, and then improve wherever you find that there are issues. But with proper, combination of subject matter expertise and data science expertise, the current models are like we haven't built anything specifically for this domain, but we have seen people coming with solutions, and we have some thing in the works, and we are aiming at predicting with plus minus 5% deviation in the accuracy.
Okay, so if you have to talk about predicting attrition, as we are discussing that, we can focus on at-risk employees, and what type of data are most valuable, like few data sets that you've mentioned, anything else that comes to your mind that, okay, this would help to train a model. If you train with this data set, it will help predict attrition in a more effective way.
Yeah, I think what most of the organizations today have some kind of a HR management system. So what we generally do is, like, we don't say that let us build a new data infrastructure. We do a data audit, and we examine what data is being collected currently in the HR systems, in the ERP systems, in the learning management systems, or other applications, business applications that are there. So data from all of these sources are useful, and then we need to combine them together, them onto a common platform, or a small data like what you call it, and then based on that we can then build our model. So not asking to create a new system and getting new data points captured, looking at what we already have, and most of the applications that we already have are having sufficient amount of data to build a initial model. Of course, some tweaks can be done. We can start capturing more data where we are not capturing right now. But basically, our approach is to work with the standard set of solutions that the organization has, and build a data lake on top of that using the data which is available.
And I don't know if we have to use these data sets, what can you talk about the frequency around that? How frequently, without again people thinking that is way too much that we can
Yeah, I
have at
mean,
what frequency?
yeah, if you ask me, like, it's depend upon the organization size actually. So some organization, they drive this kind of like survey in like monthly, quarterly, half yearly, and yearly. But generally, like small segments, say for example 5,000 to 10,000 employee organization. So it would be like 2 times in a year would be fine, because to understand the data. Because in larger organization, definitely people leave frequently because they see that okay, the growth path is little less, because there are
Yeah.
multiple competitive or competition is there in the organization. But in small size organization, generally people don't leave the organization, they wanted to change their role and all.
Like whole
So
around, yeah.
it would be, I mean, as per industry standard, probably once or twice in a year for small segment, and like quarterly for the bigger organization. I mean, if we do quarterly, it would be good to know, understand the data and use those data.
Thanks, Arun. Thanks. So I would now take a pause and thank you both for answering this series of questions. And we had a very detailed discussion around how AI can really help in building a proper management and a retention model, which can help organization boost their efficiency also, and ensure that the good resources retention is taken care of, because that's also one of the parameters which might be ignored, but hiring a new resource always comes at a n level of cost. Then, by having existing resources stay connected, stay engaged, and if they are upskilled, they can become better resources. And the examples given, the demonstrations, Manish, thanks, and Arun, you too, talking about the kind of solutions that you've implemented. We will be discussing more when we talk about talent acquisition space also. But thank you both, and thanks all my audiences also, our audiences who've been here, been patient, and been hearing to us. We will be sending a feedback link with few follow-up questions also, which you can think, and when we meet next time, probably we can talk more around that. With this, Rosh, I'll just come back to you, for winding up the session.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I appreciate all your time, and I hope you had a very thoughtful time with sharing all your queries, as well as thank you, Manish and Arun, for giving your insights and valuable experience. And let's meet again for the next section with more insightful topics. Thank you, Manish, and thank you, Megha. Thank you, Arun. Bye.
Thanks, Rosh.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.